In 1823, inside a windswept cave on the Welsh coast, a skeleton was discovered, stained red, buried with ivory ornaments, and surrounded by mystery. The scientist who found it made a shocking claim. He said it was a Roman prostitute. He was very, very wrong. This is the story of the Red Lady of Paviland, and how one discovery rewrote Britain's ancient past. Welcome to Imperium Eternal. Picture the scene: Goat's Hole Cave, the Gower Peninsula, cold sea winds crashing below limestone cliffs. Inside, Reverend William Buckland, geologist, eccentric Oxford professor, begins excavating. What he uncovers stops him in his tracks. A human skeleton, carefully buried, covered in red ochre, adorned with ivory rods, shell jewelry, and carved mammoth bone. This wasn't a random death, this was a ritual burial. But here's where the mystery deepens. Buckland insisted the bones were female, and because he believed humans didn't exist in Britain during the Ice Age, he dated the burial to Roman times. Thus, the skeleton became known as the Red Lady of Paviland. But the cave held secrets Buckland couldn't yet see. Fast forward more than a century, new dating methods, radiocarbon analysis, modern archaeology, and the truth emerges. The skeleton wasn't Roman, it wasn't even female. It was a young man, and he had been buried nearly 34,000 years ago. Let that sink in. This wasn't just ancient Britain, this was Ice Age Britain, when mammoths roamed the tundra, when glaciers carved the land, when modern humans were just beginning to spread across Europe. Paviland Man is now considered the oldest ceremonial burial in Western Europe, which raises an extraordinary question. What does this tell us about the minds of our ancestors? Red ochre wasn't random decoration. Across prehistoric sites, it appears again and again, symbolizing blood, life, rebirth. The grave goods, mammoth ivory, marine shells weren't local accidents. They were chosen, placed deliberately. This young man lived in a harsh Ice Age world, yet his people honored him with ritual, symbolism, and art, which means something profound. By 34,000 years ago, humans in Britain weren't just surviving. They were thinking symbolically, believing, remembering, mourning. In other words, they were fully, beautifully human, and that realization shattered early 19th century assumptions about primitive people. The Red Lady wasn't a Roman scandal, he was proof that deep time in Britain stretched far beyond anything scholars had imagined. Today, Paviland Man rests in the Oxford University Museum of Natural History, still stained red, still whispering a story from a frozen world long vanished. A world where mammoths walked, and humans buried their dead with meaning. If you love uncovering the forgotten chapters of ancient history, the discoveries that change everything, subscribe to Imperium Eternal. Because the past isn't dead, it's waiting to be rediscovered. And we're just getting started.